Y dos. Y dos. Una. Y dos.
Hello and welcome to Cortesnyc Livestream, the podcast. This is a bi-weekly show broadcasting out of New York City. We are your hosts, Cortesnyc.
And Carla de Puerto Rico.
And on the show, we talk about art, creativity, city life from a Latino perspective. I'm a visual artist.
And I'm a singer.
And this is episode 7, Documented.
As always, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Podbean. Just subscribe to our show and rate and review our episodes. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram under Cortesnyc Livestream.
And I want to give a shout out to some of our Instagram followers: Bays 7.85, Lowride Boulevard, Grimes C. Crusher, Mo K7, Snake 9, The Inner Observer, Sec Loco 211, SENYC 1983, Seek 1, Travis Chappelle, and a special shout out to 2 podcasts, Chico and the Grin. Thanks for the support always. Go check them out. Check out their podcast. And Hablando Pleplas podcast. We see you, homie. You're doing a good thing over there. Saludos y un abrazo a ustedes.
Yeah, so let's get on with the show.
Documenting your artwork. That's what the subject is all about. We're talking about how can you, as an artist, document, and the importance of you as an artist, documenting your life, your artwork, and your experiences so that you can share it with yourself in the future, but also other people in the future, right? What do you think about that, documenting?
Documenting is always hard for me. As a singer, you don't want people to listen to your when you're practicing, right?
Your mistakes.
Your mistakes. But not only that, but when you're warming up, you don't want people to listen to your little
True.
And I think that's part of a process that artists have, visual artists, that they can actually present the process of, let's say, a rough sketch, and it still looks like art. But if I just take my phone and start recording myself doing you're gonna be like, what are you doing and why are you showing this to me?
Singing out of tune?
Yeah, because it has nothing to do with the song at the end. So as a singer, I think it's a little bit hard. I do think that it's nice to share when you, let's say, after you practice a song and you think it's almost finished or completely finished, maybe sing for people to listen. And it's always good to listen to some feedback as well.
It's true. I think, what you described is documenting the process or sharing the process, recording the process.
Yeah, and then at the end, you will share the final version.
Okay. All right, so that's one way of documenting. That's one of the products of documenting, is that you end up with a lot of footage or photos of the process of your work. Another part of documenting, I think one of the reasons why I chose this subject is, because of recently, being part of that court case, the 5 Points court case, a lot of our proof or evidence or our exhibit to show who we are and our standing and our recognized stature, a lot of it had to do with artists having to provide documentation of our artwork. This was a very extreme example of the importance. It taught me the importance firsthand of why it was important to document my work all these years, and why all artists really should, and I should spread that advice.
Mm-hmm.
I think let's go back now. I'm thinking back to when I first started documenting my work. It would have been, back in the day, maybe just photographs, snapshots of maybe my graffiti pieces. Back in the day, actually, when you actually used film and you had to go to the Dwayne Reed and get your prints made, you would have your little 4x6s,
Oh, yeah.
you know, in a scrapbook of all your pieces, right? And back then, I mean, you would do that, and you would do that with your art pieces, and that was documenting your artwork. If you were a professional artist or you were studying to be a professional artist, you would put together a portfolio that would be based off of these kind of photos. But, you know, having these photos and having all you know, these, let's say if you were lucky enough back then to have a video camera, having all this stuff isn't really going to mean much if you're not archiving it, if you're not naming your pieces, if you're not properly documenting your stuff. So I think let's start from beginner and move up to professional. So as a beginner, right, documenting your stuff can be as simple as saving your stuff, because what a lot of beginner artists tend to do is they throw away their art. They'll draw something they're not too in love with, or they'll have some idea and they'll start drawing something, and if they're not too crazy about it, it'll end up under their bed somewhere or in the back of some notebook somewhere, and it'll get lost when you throw out the notebook, right? It's important from the very beginning, when you first start to develop yourself as an artist, it's important to start to hold on to all your little sketches and ideas, right? Retain them, hold on to them, put them in a folder, put them in a portfolio, save them. That's part of documenting. You want to sign it, you want to date it, you know, you want to put the date of when you've completed it, and you want to save it in a safe place. And at that stage in your beginning years, it might just be a simple folder with some, you know, get a big envelope and just stuff it full of your drawings, you know, or keep your black book intact, your sketchbook, keep it intact, you know. That could be the beginnings of documenting your work. Moving along further, once you get to college level, obviously you're gonna, or high school or college level, you might get into a portfolio, you know, like we said earlier, photos, portfolio, videos, you know, buy yourself a video camera. Nowadays, obviously you're not gonna mess with a video camera. Nowadays it's on your phone.
Everything is on your phone.
So
it's so easy for you now.
Exactly, but a lot of people still don't do it.
Yeah.
So that's why we have this subject. So
exactly.
The subject is, use your phone for something more than selfies. Use your phone and your video
more than filters and Snapchat.
Exactly. And don't keep it all in your phone only, because your phones can crash and you could lose all your files. I've heard people tell me, I've heard artists tell me, like, oh man, I lost my phone, I had all my photos there. And I'm like, you had your photos in your phone and that's it? Like, that's crazy. Like, you know, but some people don't take it that seriously. And I'm imploring all of you, I'm imploring you, please take it seriously. Document your art. Keep your photos safe. Keep your video clips safe somewhere. So what do you need nowadays? You need a hard drive. Invest in a hard drive. If you have a laptop or you have a computer, invest in a hard drive an external hard drive that you can store your photos and video clips of all your artwork, and label it. And don't be lazy. Label your folders. Name your pieces. That's another part of it.
I'm lazy.
Yeah. Name your pieces. Name them. Give them titles. That way you remember them and you give them importance. That's part of documenting your work. And then you organize your folders and all that stuff. That's another part of this. Nowadays, it's very popular to have Google Drives.
Yeah.
Right?
And the cloud.
The cloud, yeah.
Yeah, so you can save also. You cannot save everything there, but some of the things that maybe you think you might need for an easier access through your email, you can put it there. And things that maybe you want to share, let's say for a job interview, or you want to share with a friend, I think that the drive and the cloud, they're really good for that.
We started using it now for your audio takes when we've been doing some recording.
Yeah.
Right? We've been saving stuff to Google Drive.
Yeah, which makes it a lot easier to share.
Yeah. With
somebody else. Either if they don't have Gmail, it's still easy to send and share.
I mean, so a simple thing you could do if you're a singer or a musician, obviously you have GarageBand or you're using one of these programs and you're recording. Save those files. Save those takes. It's important. Don't take it for granted. If you do a take and you're sitting down and you're doing a session, save it, export the file, save that file on some drive or something. You can share it with people that you're collaborating with. You can send them a link and say, hey, here's what we recorded last week. Check it out. Tell me what you think.
And then just listen to it, and maybe you can find whatever you think it wasn't perfect at that time, or whatever you think that you might add for the next time.
And obviously, the point of documenting is for the future. The future person who's going to listen to this might be somebody else, or it might be yourself. You know, it might be the future you. And the future you is going to listen to this, and they're going to learn from this. They're going to appreciate the history that you start to develop as an artist, you know.
And they're going to feel the difference in your evolution. Maybe something that you're not seeing right away, you'll see it because you can see the past work you did.
All right. So we got into hard drives, we got into computers and all that stuff. That's very tech. Let's go back to low tech, lo-fi. Back to low tech, I would say something that I used to do, and I didn't realize it was important, was a scrapbook. If you're a musician, this could apply to you. If you're a visual artist, this could apply. A scrapbook is a place where you would want to keep events that you participated in, flyers for events that you participated in. Why do you want to keep that? Well, you want to keep it because we have bad memories, right? Our memories are not that strong, and you might want to save some of these flyers or some of these pamphlets or things that maybe you applied for, you know, these events in your life. You want to save these things in a scrapbook, in a place where you can keep clippings. They used to call this clippings. Nowadays, you know, technology, you know, flyers are on Instagram or online or on Facebook or something, or on a website, right? So what are you going to do nowadays? Instead of saving newspaper articles in a scrapbook, you're going to save links.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. You want to save links. If you came out in a blog, if you came out in a newspaper article, if you were participating in an art event and they featured you on their flyer or on their website, save a link before you forget. Save a link, copy the link, save it, and make a folder somewhere with a list of all your links of all the things you participated in, and label the link clearly. Don't just save the link, label it. Say, this was art exhibit at this time, blah, 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 and then have your link. This will later on can be used for your portfolio or for your website. Maybe on your website, you want to put links of things that you participated in. This could be that body of work. It makes it a lot easier to have that already archived and documented, so that all you have to do is refer to that file and grab all those links. It's a lot easier than having to dig around through the entire internet 5 years from now and try to remember what was the name of that thing that I did. What was, you know, and you know, it makes you more organized. It makes you realize the body of work that you're accumulating. Yeah. So links, files with links, that's important. It's a good modern equivalent to the old newspaper clipping, you know, scrapbook.
Magazines.
Yeah. So we talked about websites and blogs, right? But what about your own website and your own blog, right? That's another way of documenting. Nowadays, I don't know if nowadays every artist needs a website. It depends on your level, and it depends on if you're selling something and what you're promoting. Because now you have Facebook and Instagram and so many different places to promote yourself. But I think it's still important. I recommend it. Have a website. Have a website that is organized, where in your own voice you can document your story, show the work that you want to feature the way that you want to feature it. That's very important. And in that website, you can have a blog. Blogs are good ways of documenting, even if they're very simple, but they're good ways for you to document some of your life stories, some of your experiences. Carla, what do you think of blogs? Do you ever visit blogs?
Not really.
Personal blogs?
No, but through Tumblr, which is kind of like a blog, you can have a little bit of an idea of how a blog on a website should look like, and how a blog on a website, what information should have. But I think that also a blog on a website can share some events that you're part of, can share some information, can share even some articles that you wrote or that you had somebody write for you for any piece that you had, or maybe a review, things like that. I think that those are good things to share on a blog.
That's true. I think blogs are also can be used if you're a singer or an artist, somebody who is doing maybe a project, a long-term project. Blogs, I've seen them used that way, where you can show, updates. You can give updates to a long-term project. Blogs can be another way to document behind-the-scenes things, things that are not really finished, but you want to still share it with people and get that documented out there, and So a blog can also be used that way, and I think that's a good way to do it. That maybe is a little more than Instagram, right?
Yeah.
It's not just one still photo, and it's a little more than Twitter.
Exactly. Yeah, because you can write a lot, share a lot.
Okay, so another source that I thought of for documenting online now in modern times would be LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn could be another place for you to document yourself. I know people use LinkedIn for commercial, professional kind of environment, a resume, and you're looking for full-time work and all that. But I think artists can also use LinkedIn for their creative documentation of their achievements. I don't see why not. Nothing says that LinkedIn has to be for 9-to-5 work.
Yeah.
You could post your resumes on there if you're a fine artist or if you're an illustrator, and you can post your achievements, your experiences. I think on LinkedIn you can create a portfolio, so you can put photos and I don't know if you can put video. Yeah, you can put video on LinkedIn.
It can be for any type of professional. Being a professional doesn't mean that you are in an office 9 to 5. Being a professional is that you know your craft, and your craft can be music, your craft can be art, your craft can be public speaking. So LinkedIn is a professional environment. So if you want to be on that level, then yeah, go into LinkedIn.
And for me, LinkedIn is a combination of your resume, your portfolio, your scrapbook, because you can put in LinkedIn hyperlinks to all newspaper articles that you've been featured on, all the blogs you've been featured on. You can be like, oh yeah, and I had this article written about me. So anybody that goes to your LinkedIn can see a summary of all of your experiences.
And I think a good thing about LinkedIn is that it's really organized. So everything is under one category, or you can just organize it the way you want it. But if you don't have, let's say right now, a website or a portfolio, maybe start with LinkedIn. And then on LinkedIn, they're going to organize it, and you can organize it the way you want it. And then you can share that information with, if you're applying for a job, or if you just want to share your professional work.
Yeah, if you want to just promote yourself, you can promote through LinkedIn. All right, so moving on along to other mediums. I think everybody knows Flickr. I don't know if Flickr really is as big as it used to be. Facebook, obviously. I don't recommend Facebook for a professional environment to document yourself. You can document yourself through Facebook, but I think you end up in a lot of drama and you get steered around in a lot of different places. So Facebook, I think, has proven itself to not be a good environment for that.
I think that's why LinkedIn is a good place, because LinkedIn is almost like a Facebook, but you don't have
the
drama or the opinions.
True.
Because you don't have to give your opinions on stuff.
True. And then Instagram. Instagram is the most popular place where people are using almost like a blog, right? Where they want to share everything about themselves, including video and video clips and all that kind of stuff. Instagram is okay, I think. The only problem for me with Instagram as far as documenting yourself is that because it's linear, you can't, it's difficult to like organize a profile of yourself on Instagram.
Yeah.
The minute that you start, if you take a trip somewhere and suddenly now your Instagram's all about that trip, if you start posting about it and it distracts from what you were originally promoting.
I guess that's why people has two accounts, their personal account and then their professional or artistic or creative account.
True. And then, another thing about that obviously is on Instagram, the likes and the comments and all that. I don't know if you really want that as part of your archive, people's comments. like their opinions of you. I don't know if you want that to be permanently recorded as like, yeah, this represents me. Look, Joe Schmo said that whatever about my painting or whatever. But in a way, this opens up the door to a new conversation, which is documenting your likes and documenting your social network, your presence on social media.
That's what I was thinking because of the case.
That was another part.
It was a lot of how many followers do you have, and then that would determine your basically your authenticity, and basically the most followers you have, then the most credibility you will have.
It was part of the factors, and it was something that was taken into account. Yeah. So I can't knock the idea of using that as a way of documenting, but then I think you do have to. What if somebody shuts down your Instagram, or what if something happens and it gets hacked, and you lost all that credibility? So there has to be a way to document your credibility at a certain stage that you can. I don't know. You can make it more permanent. I mean, I don't have the answer for that right now, but I think that's something that people need to look up for into the future.
Yeah.
How do you document your social media presence? So that in the future you can, when maybe Instagram doesn't exist anymore, you can look back and say, in 2018, I had this, and this, and this website. I had this, and I was present at this time doing this.
Yeah, because that's what happened with MySpace. When MySpace shut down, you lost everything you had there unless you didn't have it saved somewhere else. So I guess I'm hoping, right, that they will invent some kind of cloud, some kind of maybe of drive where you can send an actual link for each post and then send it to your email. Maybe you can save it there or send it to the cloud or whatever medium you have to actually save the content.
All right, so I think I'm going to conclude this section with 2 more points. One of them is video, the importance of video. And I'll use YouTube as an example of my experience on YouTube. Video is the most effective way of documenting in modern times. Video gives people a real impression of what it's like to see you doing what you're doing in real time, as they're watching you do it. And if they see your video 10 years from now, which I have videos online that are 10 years old, it's like it's new to somebody else. So I might have done that 10 years ago, but somebody sees the video and it's still new to them. It's a new experience because they're experiencing it in front of their very eyes, what I did back then. Obviously, they're going to see the old fashion and the old style, and they're going to be like, oh, that's not the way people dress anymore, or that's not the way people, whatever they might see in this old video footage. But it's still the most effective way to convey the experience of your art. So if you're an artist out there now and you're not doing video, I recommend you take video more seriously. Document yourself. Set up a video camera. A lot of people are doing it nowadays, but if you haven't done it, or if you're not one of those artists, do it. Set up video cameras, more than just Snapchat, more than just a little video clip on Instagram. Try to create full documented videos, even if you don't post them, but save them, store them. I guarantee you that in the future, you're going to need this information. You're going to need those video clips. You're going to use them for something. So video is very important. Then the last point that I'm going to make, I'm going to bring it back down to lo-fi and low-tech, is now you've documented all your work. You have all your hard drives. You have all these portfolios. You have a whole mountain full of paintings and drawings and folders and all this kind of stuff, right? How do you save your documents? How do you save this for the length of your life, for it to last the length of your life and beyond your existence on this earth, right? You need to invest. First of all, you need to understand that the elements will destroy your stuff. So the weather, humidity, heat, cold, this will affect your hard drives. It'll affect your paintings. It'll affect your drawings. It'll affect your, if you're doing music, it'll affect your recordings, whatever it is. All these things are not forever. These are not things that are forever, right? You need to protect these things and put them in plastic bins or in safe drawers. If you're not keeping them in a room temperature kind of environment, then you want to make sure that you keep them in some sort of plastic container that will avoid humidity or damage to get to these things long enough that you can eventually move it into the next medium that you'll save it into. Hard drives become old. They become frail. I recommend that every 5, maybe less than 5, but at the most 10 years, but I don't think you want to wait that long. Take your files and move them onto a new hard drive. Buy a new hard drive. Every hard drives continue to get bigger and higher capacity. The plugs that they use to connect to the computers, they become obsolete. Eventually, like old hard drives don't work on new computers, things like that. I recommend that every few years you buy a new hard drive and you transfer your files onto a new hard drive. It's an important habit to get into. And then take those hard drives and save them into a safe place. You want to think of your art for the future. You want to save your art the same way that you would save money. It's a bank. Your art you should put it in a safe place, like the same way you want to store your money in a safe place. Don't, take it for granted.
Those are great advice for any artist out there, any creative. You dance, you sing, you're a musician, you're a visual artist. Any type of art, just document your art.
Pero si no estás haciendo todo igual, no tiene ningún color el paso que haces. Separa menos tiempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, culture talk.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the show. This is where I get to sit back and let Carla do all the talking. Carla, what do we have for this culture talk? What's the subject?
Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about different stereotypes, misconceptions of the Puerto Rican culture.
So Puerto Rican stereotypes, some of them a little negative.
Yeah.
All fake.
Yeah, of course.
All fake news.
All fake news. You guys know this.
There might be a little truth in some of them, but
yeah,
it's all fake news.
We're gonna go over them and I'm gonna explain to you a little bit.
All right, go ahead, give us your list.
Okay, so the first one will be they don't know English or they don't speak English. And
that's already false, right? Because
this is false.
Puerto Rico is bilingual, basically.
It is bilingual, and since we're little, since we're in school, you are learning English. And we have one class, it's 1 hour, as part of our curriculum, it will be 1 hour class of English. So an English class, right? And they teach you everything. Start from, it's not perfect because you start to learn about writing and reading, but you don't really speak that much when you're in school until you get to high school. And then when you get to high school, you have a little bit more of presentations, a little bit of more complicated readings in English. But
you're learning English while you're learning Spanish.
Yeah, exactly.
Spanish, so that's already more than people are doing here. Let's use New York as an example. Mm-hmm. How many New Yorkers are learning Spanish while they're speaking in English? You know what I mean? So it's already a falsehood. Yes, Puerto Ricans from the island are learning both languages.
Yeah, we are. And an interesting fact is that when we get to the university, the books are in English because, for example, if you're studying business, or like me, I was studying advertising and public relations, there's some terms that cannot be translated in Spanish. So we have to use the book in English, then the class will be in Spanish, and sometimes the test will be in Spanish with those terms in English.
So imagine if you gave that to a high school student here. I mean,
exactly.
I think you've seen some of the high school...
yeah.
Some of our great and big future generations here in New York, and the high school students don't seem like they could handle that. They would complain to their parents about it.
Yeah.
And their parents would probably complain and be like, "Oh my God, I gotta tutor my kid in Spanish now? Why?"
Exactly.
But all right, so that's a misconception. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the misconceptions. Let's continue. The second one is our Spanish is ghetto.
Ooh.
So first, we don't speak English, and then with the Latin American community, we have this stereotype of our Spanish is the ghetto Spanish.
Now, yes, a lot of island culture in general, not just Puerto Rican, but also Jamaican and Haitian and other island, Caribbean culture, tend to have their own kind of dialect, their own kind of sayings and expressions. This is very common.
Yeah.
Like for example, the Haitians take French and they play with the French language and mix it in with English and start inventing their own island slang. Jamaicans, they'll take English and they start playing around with the way that you pronounce certain things and the way that you spell certain things. So Puerto Ricans do the same thing with Spanish.
In our case, we'll mix the Spanish with English, and it becomes like an Spanglish but in Spanish, which is funny. Like words like parking and parking. We say parking. And then like in the last episode we were talking about the word party. We use party like vamos para el party. We're going to the party. Like just regular words that it actually became part of our language as our Spanish language in Puerto Rico, which is funny. So our Spanish is not ghetto, it's just have a different accent. And that's cool. That's normal. Another misconception is that...
Wait. Before we move on to that.
Yeah.
The other stereotype that is true, but of certain areas of Puerto Rico is you take the R and you flip it with the L.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is true. We do it a lot, and I think we don't realize it until we're speaking with people from other countries that they speak Spanish.
Right.
Because obviously when you are in Puerto Rico, you're speaking with your people, blah, blah, you don't realize that you're making these changes. But when we talk and we move here to the United States and we start talking with other people from, let's say, Colombia or Venezuela or Cuba, we start noticing all these things and we're like, oh yeah, our accent is very, very strong.
Yeah.
And the next one will be, you don't look Puerto Rican.
Ooh.
So,
what does a Puerto Rican look like?
Yeah, exactly. That's always my question. I saw a post on Facebook, and it said, "Oh, if you want me to look like a Puerto Rican, I guess I'll put an olla of arroz en habichuelas, arroz con gandules en la cabeza." So you can notice that I'm an authentic Puerto Rican, that I'm part of the island.
Yeah, I mean, the typical Spanish girl or Spanish lady image cartoon is like the Chiquita Banana lady with the bowl of fruits on her head. But like, all right, speaking racially, Puerto Rico is very mixed. Puerto Rico literally is called Puerto Rico. It's a port where a lot of different cultures have meshed and fused together and intermingled, and it's become a multicultural place. So,
and the fusion happened so fast. It wasn't, I think, since the beginning of everything, right? When
life.
when the Spaniards got to the island and the whole mix that happened that time, it moved that right now we have such a mixture that there's not a division between, let's say, black and whites and Indians or people that look native. It's just a whole mixture. Everybody has a little bit of everything, which is interesting, and that's why people cannot see if you are white with blonde hair and blue eyes, you can be Puerto Rican, and then you say, "Hey, I'm Puerto Rican," and they will be like, "No, you're white."
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit controversial when you come to North America, because in North America, there's a strong racial divide. There's a lot of categorization. People are put into boxes. They're kind of put into their own slots. You know what I mean? I think who was the artist, that singer, the reality show person that...
Amara,
yeah.
We're gonna talk about her in another episode.
Yeah, but she's from where? She's Dominican?
She's from Dominican Republic,
right?
Yeah.
And she sparked a controversy. Also, Bruno Mars is sparking a controversy, right? Yeah. Because it's like he's for Latinos, he's a trigueño. He's somebody who's got brown complexion. He's tanned. For African Americans, he might seem light,
Yeah.
very light skinned. For Latino culture, he's brown. He's considered like a brown skinned trigueño.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody who has some melanin to his color. And
yeah.
you know, I know that he's also mixed. I think he's Hawaiian or something, or he's got
He's
some
Hawaiian
other.
and he has Puerto
Yeah.
Rican on him too. His father is Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, these are celebrities or people in the spotlight that are causing some controversy and some conversation.
Exactly. They're sparking a conversation that is important to have now that the United States is composed by so many different ethnicities, and that's my thing, and I guess we'll talk about this on another episode, but there's a difference between race and ethnicity, and United States has focused a lot on race.
Yeah.
But I think it's more important to know where you come from, not exactly what you are, because imagine us as Puerto Rican, I can say I am Puerto Rican, but then racially, what can I say I am, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and for myself, my family's from Colombia, and Colombians, depending on where you are in Colombia, you can find very indigenous looking, very European looking,
Yeah.
very African looking.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, every country has its own classism and its own racism, but in general, the way I was brought up was, you know, we appreciate, you know, all the different aspects of our culture. You know,
Yeah.
we kind of embrace them all and take them all in.
Yeah.
You know, we accept them. So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, especially because Puerto Rico was forced. The people were forced to merge with Americans, right?
Yeah.
And it became a thing. It became an issue.
Exactly. So we'll continue with talking about Puerto Rico was forced, that we are not part of the United States. So
Yeah.
many Americans think that we are not American citizens, and that we are just another country in the Caribbean or another country part of Latin America.
Right.
Which is true. We are part of Latin America, but if you go to Puerto Rico, you can see that we have more relationship with the United States than with other countries in Latin America.
Agreed.
Which is sad because we are so close
it's
to other countries. But it is what it is because of the political environment and because of the influence that the United States had in Puerto Rico.
I mean, without getting deep into politics, but obviously your sensitivity to the subject is because there are Puerto Ricans on the island that would rather be separate, and there are Puerto Ricans on the island that would rather be together with the United States and embrace the United States. But the truth of the matter is you are where you are, and where you are is that you are tied to the United States, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't really have an option, right?
Yeah.
The state of Puerto Rico is what it is, and yeah, when you go down to Puerto Rico and you see the tourism and you see the local stores and the customs, everything's very Americanized. It feels like you're in Miami.
Yeah. We have everything you guys have here. That's funny because
except the money and the electricity.
the amount of money, we'll still have the same currency, but the amount of money we don't have it. Electricity, exactly. We still have towns in the countryside that they don't have electricity. But this remind me of when I was starting to work here in New York. I was working with a guy and he asked me like, oh, but do you guys have like this fast food over there? And I'm like, yeah, part of the United States. It's the same thing. Same exact thing.
Yeah.
Only thing we speak Spanish, we have our culture, but it is basically the same. So the next one will be that we are lazy, that Puerto Ricans are lazy.
Now, I don't remember hearing that myself growing up. I never heard Puerto Ricans are lazy or los even in Spanish. I never heard, like, even within the Spanish communities, you know, things about, you know, perezosos or Puerto Ricans son perezosos.
Yeah.
I never heard that. But I think that might come from the whole welfare system where probably the people who came up from Puerto Rico to the mainland, right, to the States, had to look for help, and they looked for help through the welfare system and an assistance, you know, government assistance, and that became equivalent to, oh, they're lazy, they just want to have a handout. Politically, you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean, you know.
Yeah, but it's the same conversation that we're having right now, and that it's happening all over the news. That people that come from other places to the United States, they're seen as, oh, they're the lazy ones and they're coming here to steal everything. And it's not like that. I feel like people that come from other places, they actually work double than the people that live here already.
True.
So I think that even though we are part of the United States, we do have it is a lot of work. Even if you are educated, coming to the United States with your education is not enough. So I think that we are not lazy, that we put up the work.
Yeah, I don't think you have to prove that you're not lazy, but I do think that we have to prove that it's a stereotype and not a fact.
Exactly. Yes, that's right. And I guess I'll finish with this one, which is like, we have it so easy. And that comes in relationship with the ones we were just talking about. So no, we don't have it that easy. Because like I said, even though some of us were raised with the English language as part of our education, not everybody had the same privilege or even the same privilege to learn it in a high level. So I guess that everybody has to work hard to do whatever they have to do. So this is a stereotype that obviously is not true. Some of us, that we don't have it that easy.
All right, I'm not gonna let you get off this easy. I'm gonna bring the stereotypes that we all want to talk about. Okay. Number one, all Puerto Ricans are flag-bearing patriotas. They're all Puerto Ricans to death. They're all Captain Puerto Ricos. All of them.
You
Is that
have
true?
to. Yeah, that's
all of them.
true.
Every single one. I can't.
No, not every single one. Not every single one. But when special events happen, we have to represent.
And that stereotype comes from in the 1960s, where the flag was actually banned at a certain time. There was a time where you couldn't represent your flag, and that's almost like a protest against that, where people started beginning to constantly show their flag.
Exactly. So now we're gonna show it everywhere, and you're gonna see it everywhere.
Another stereotype is all Puerto Ricans are sexy, 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 sexy. Oh, so sexy Puerto Ricans, so sexual.
No, it's not. Not true. Not true. It comes from a reality. Yeah, we are very attractive, but not all of us.
You wanted me to teach you, right? This is street reality.
Hablando español.
Yes.
Carla, what words do you have for us? This is a section that we use to teach our gringos out there some Spanish words, and to teach some of our bilinguals some words that they might have forgotten.
Or new words. So first word is escribir.
Escribir. Escribir is writing.
Yes.
Escribir, writing.
Second one is documentar.
Documentar is to document. Documentar.
Yep.
Documentar.
Next one is portafolio.
Portafolio. Portafolio. Portfolio.
Yes.
Portafolio. Somos Puerto Rico. Portafolio.
Sounds like Italian, right?
Yeah. Well, it might come from from some Italian one.
Next one is proceso.
Proceso. Proceso also sounds Italian, but proceso sounds like a cheese. Proceso is process. Proceso,
Yes.
process.
Next one, explorar.
Explorar is to explore. Explorar.
Yes.
Soft roll of the R.
Next one is archivar.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think if you would have asked it to me in English, I wouldn't have guessed the Spanish word. I don't think I knew that one. Archivar. I don't use that one at all. Archivar is archive. Archivar.
And then archivo.
Archivo is a mule, right? Something you write on?
No.
Just kidding. That's a chivo. Una chiva. That's a bus. No. Archivo is archive.
Yeah, it will be what you put inside the archive.
The archivo is what you put inside of the archive.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Archivar
Is to archive.
is to archive, and then
Archivo is
archivo
the
is
item.
like the document that is inside the.
Oof.
It can be actually archivo can be the place where you put it,
Shit.
and also the item. Pásame el archivo. Está en el archivo. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
Now I have some Spanish, some Puerto Rican slang, kind of. So let's see if you know it.
Puerto Rican vocabulary, or let's say words that are used in the island.
Some is little words. It's not that much. Okay.
Okay.
First one, Ajumao.
What? What is Ajumao? Ajumao?
Ajumao.
Ajumao. Ajumado or Ajumao?
Ajumao.
Ajumao. Oh my God, I wish this was live so we can get people's reactions and get some feedback on it. Ajumao. All right, what's Ajumao?
Hangover.
Shit, I think you did tell me that one time.
Yeah.
Ajumao is hangover, which we say in Colombia, we say
It's to have a guayabo.
el guayabo. We
But
say
I
guayabo,
didn't
yeah.
want to say this word this episode, but it's okay.
Ajumao.
We'll repeat it on the next episode too. El guayabo. But also, Ajumao
Hangover.
will be the person. Estoy ajuma. And then Juma will be the hangover.
Oh.
I have a hangover. He has a hangover, or él tiene una juma.
Tiene una juma.
Juma.
Una juma or ajuma?
Juma.
Una juma.
Yeah.
Wow. Está ajumao.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Here we go.
next
Puerto
one.
Rican Spanish.
Pichea.
Pichea. This one always cracked me up because pichea sounds so vulgar.
Pichea, loco, pichea.
Pichea sounds like pichar in Colombian slang. Pichar is to fuck. Fucking is pichando. So
No,
when you,
it's not.
Yes, it is. Se puede decir comer, se puede decir
Wow.
pichar. ¿Quiere pichar? Vamos a pichar.
Wow.
La piche.
No.
Pichar.
And in Puerto Rico, the vulgar to say to fuck or to have sex is chingar.
Chingar. Which is almost Mexican also, right? Chingar. No chingues. No chingues.
Sí, casi. But okay.
Wait, so
Okay, pero tell
So
me
what
what
is-
is pichea?
pichea, you've said it to me before, and I feel like it does come from the phrase of fucking, because it's like don't
it's
fuck around,
not.
like don't joke around. No,
No, it's not that.
What is pichea?
Pichea comes from the pitch from the baseball game.
Oh my god!
You know where the pitcher he gets the ball or he cannot get the ball. So pichea means like olvídate. Like forget about it. Pichea. It's already done. Pichea. Like forget about it.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pichea. What about this one? This is not the country, and this is not a person from that country. What is this? China.
All right, China. So Puerto Ricans say China to mean orange.
Yeah. But China,
Not the color orange, the fruit orange.
the fruit orange. Actually, we do call the orange color chinita. Orange color is chinita. And then China in Spanish means China or a Chinese female. So that's why that word in Puerto Rico, or to say China in Puerto Rico, is a little bit confusing for other Latin American countries.
Yeah. All right, you got another one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Zángano.
Sangano. I don't know if people use sangano anymore, but I think it means like to be
Like
dumb.
Yeah.
I
Dumb
was
or
gonna say
silly.
retarded. Like don't be retarded. But obviously people don't say retarded anymore.
No.
But
It's more
sangano
like
literally I think comes from that.
it's dumb or silly.
Yeah, I think that might be an old-fashioned slur. But, you know, that's what happens in translations, right?
Yeah.
Well, this concludes episode 7.
Yes.
So next week, or next episode, I should say, depending on when this airs, will be episode 8, In Your Own Voice. Next time on Art Talk, we'll be talking about how to find your own voice, the importance of having your own voice in your art, and the content of your art, and the importance of that.
And on Culture Talk, we're going to be talking about Colombian stereotypes, cliches, and common misconceptions.
What? Carla's Puerto Rican revenge on me, huh? It's going to be revenge time, huh?
We'll see. What do you feel about them?
Yeah,
And like always,
well, yeah, as always, at the end, we're going to be
Hablando Español.